sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap. All in one. All for you. Tap in. Zap in.
Tuesday, the 13th of January 2026, Dr. Ceesay, Dr. Ismail Ceesay, Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services. Still
well, let me just respond to that as well. We've not got any data which tells us that tourists are not coming to Gambia because of the security fee. We have to get the data. This year has been it's been a boom in the tourism sector. A lot of arrivals have happened despite the security fee. So there is no evidence telling us that people are not coming to the Gambia because of the security fee. Now, a lot of tourists are coming to the Gambia because of our peaceful nature, because of the products we have available, and because of it's a brilliant, attractive destination. And many people are still coming, and people still think it's worth it. I mean, the security fee you pay the only inconvenience is you have to pay at the airport. But whether it's in the ticket or at the airport, you still have to pay. And there is no indication or evidence which tells us that people are not coming to the Gambia because of the security fee.
Okay. I'm reading, a text message as received. This is from a victim with good knowledge of the reparations process. The TRRC concluded that reparations should amount to a little over 200 million. They had only 50 million, which they distributed as interim reparations to various categories of victims, with each given a percentage of what is due to them, and passed the rest to government to complete. It took government almost 5 years to pay that balance after over $1 billion was spent from the sale of Jammeh's assets where reparations were to come from. And even now, the Reparations Commission has only $20 million to complete this balance and cater for other victims not identified by TRRC. Obviously, the plight of the victims is not prioritized. Ask the minister why the reparations were not prioritized. Honorable Minister, I'll call you Honorable as long as you remain in office. Yes. Honorable Minister, why are the reparations not prioritized?
Well, as far as I know, it's prioritized. I don't agree with that statement. If there are challenges, perhaps yes, there are challenges. But I think the government has made it a priority to ensure that there are reparations. That is why we set up the Reparations Commission. And now the Reparations Commission is on and they've started giving out reparations. So there's no better way than that. It means it's a priority. If it was not a priority, we would not set up the commission. Now we've set it up in line with the recommendations of the TRRC, and the commission is up and going. And yesterday you've seen, like I said in my updates, they've started paying out reparations. It means that there's a serious commitment on the part of government to ensure that victims who are supposed to receive reparations receive it. That commitment cannot be questioned.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gomez and the Honorable Minister. Can the Minister please help me and maybe many Gambians abroad about the passport issuance? I applied for the passport and it's almost a month and still can't get the passport. And I heard the president saying Brufut is like Dubai. Did I hear him right, or is it AI? Asks ML in Nairobi, Kenya.
Well, when it comes to the passports, there are two types of passports. When it comes to biometric passports, we don't have an issue with that. And in fact, every Gambian should try to get the biometric passports. Now, for those Gambians who are abroad and clearly can't come home to get the biometric passports, and where we've not started issuing the passports there like we did in Spain recently and most parts of the diaspora, you need to get the machine-readable passports, now which are the MRP. I think there was a statement from the Ministry of Interior, in particular the Immigration Department, that due to limited consumable resources, they have to prioritize who they give these passports to. It has to be on health issues, emergency travel, and so on and so forth. But like I said, we don't produce the consumables we need to make these passports. And sometimes there are clearly challenges. But the passport issue, when it comes to biometric passport, there are no issues. But for the machine readable, yes, clearly we acknowledge that there are challenges in issuing these passports en masse because of bottlenecks in procuring the consumables needed to issue these passports. Now, when it comes to the Brufut statement, yes, Brufut is like Dubai.
Is it?
Of course, yes. If you look at the...
In what ways?
I mean, if you look at the transformation, I mean, when we say Dubai transforms so quickly from nothing almost to something big. Brufut, go to Brufut today. And we forget too easily. 2 years ago, if you take that route from Gamtel into Brufut, it's like a different rivers that you have to go through to get into Brufut when it rains. But today, that is gone. So the quick, the rapid transformation of Brufut from somewhere infrastructurally speaking, nothing, to today, what is there is like Dubai.
Brufut is like Dubai.
The quick transformation of Brufut. It's Dubai transformed so quickly from almost nothing to today. Everybody's talking about Dubai. So if you look at Brufut also, it has taken the same trajectory in terms of quick transformation from almost a road where it will take you sometimes 40 minutes from Gamtel to go to the Brufut market to now easy with street lights, with nice road furnitures. Brufut is transforming, and the rapidness of that transformation can be akin to the rapidness of the transformation that took place in Dubai.
Just because of one road?
No, it's 3 roads. From Wulinkama to Brufut is 1 road, brilliant road. From Gamtel to Brufut, another road. From Ghana to Brufut. So we've got we've built 3 different separate roads.
I heard about the Gamtel going in.
So Gamtel going in from Mohamedia Junction now towards Brufut to the Gamtel inside, brand new road. State of the art.
Okay.
From Wulinkama Junction, where the Logics is on the Battle Harding Highway, connects into Brufut. Now, from Ghana Town to Brufut, these roads were 3 years ago, I wish we could have the images, they were, during the rainy season, you can't even use them. And today, you've seen how they've transformed. Not only, you see, when you build these kind of roads, what comes next is you see rapid infrastructure. People build good, high-quality buildings. And that is what's happening in Brufut. So the rapidness of the transformation of the infrastructural transformation can be akin to what happened in Dubai.
Okay, so Brufut is like Dubai. Well explained there by Dr. Ceesay. Good morning, Uncle Peter and Dr. Ismaila Ceesay. Happy New Year to you. Anyway, I'm still after Dr. Ceesay regarding sign language interpreter as we enter 2026. When will this happen with all his promises during the past year? I believe it's so unfair for people with disabilities throughout the country. And this is from Chairman and Secretary General of the National Organization for Disabled and Orphans, Lamin Mane.
Well, we've made progress. We've made progress.
Oh,
we're starting this January. In fact, it's good he reminded me, because I personally had a meeting between GRTS and the service providers, and we've agreed on something. And they've even been to the studio to do simulation behind the scenes. They've done it. Now what is remaining is for us to start this January. So we are on it. It's not something you just come and do. It has to go through some processes. But like I said, I am committed to providing this, and we are starting. I am aware that they've been to the studios, those who are going to provide the sign language, to test behind the scenes how it's going to work. And we've agreed that we'll start with the news, 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock news, until we can now scale it up to other programs. But like I said, I passed had a meeting with the service providers and the GRD management in my office, and we've agreed to use December as a testing period, which is already done, and the idea was to start it in this January. But when I go back to the office, I need to make a follow-up to say when are we starting. But the idea was to start in January.
I hope you will start before the next program, because Lamin Mane will keep asking and asking.
No, it's good.
Asking.
It's good that he asks, because I have made it very clear that when it comes to the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, our policy is to ensure every Gambian receives information. It's a fundamental human right. It is a right guaranteed by the Gambian Constitution that every Gambian must receive information in your language, in the manner and mode in which you can understand it. That is information. So we have to do everything possible to make sure that we invest in that. And I've made this very clear to GRTS management that I will not accept a situation where this will be prioritized, and they've made it a priority. And I've made sure that I've made a follow-up on this, had meetings in my office with them, with the service providers, those who are going to do the sign language interpretation. And we've also had a timeline in place where they'll do the testing and now go live. Now, the going live was supposed to start in January. I have not made a follow-up. I'll do so once I get to the office today.
Hi, Peter. Good morning. I am Sidiko Suno from Faraba Banta. My question to Dr. Ceesay: what measures is the Gambia government taking to tackle the rising high rate of crime and insecurity in our communities? We are not safe in our communities, especially the women. This is painful and frustrating.
Well, when people say high rates of crime in this country, sometimes I wonder whether we live in a different country. Before I started this program, I went online to do some research about Gambia's crime rate, and fortunately I just screenshot
you
this.
anticipated that somebody was going to come.
Let me just, it says the Gambia is safe because of peaceful politics, strong community values, low violent crime, and regional stability, making one of the calmest environments in the region. So we are not saying there is no crime, but Gambia is not a country where today, before you go out, you'll think, okay, I might not come back home. No, yes, that is crime. Every country has crime, but we don't see most of our most of our crime are theft. But we don't have that much violent crime in this country where every day you have a homicide.
Some of these thefts have been fatal.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is that we don't have high homicide rates in this country. We don't have high armed robbery rates in this country. We don't have high violent crime in this country. Yes, once in a while, there is homicide, but these homicides cannot be preventable because this happens in enclosed environments where no police officer, no matter where you are in the world, can prevent some of these crimes. But what is important, we are able to resolve these crimes as soon as they occur. By and large, and relatively speaking, Gambia is a safe, secure country. Every country grapples with crime all over the world, no matter how much you invest per capita on providing security. But we are doing everything possible to ensure that today, today, community policing is visible across the country. The IGP has done a fantastic job in ensuring that police officers everywhere, despite some of the challenges that they face. But nonetheless, Gambia is safe and calm and secure. There is no society in the world which is zero crime or which is crime-free. Yes, crime does happen, but when it happens, we solve it, and also we try to prevent crime by making sure that we come up with measures that stop people from committing crime.
The minister is either misleading people or grossly misinformed about the case of Bantanjang Alkalo. It is publicly known from the Alkalo himself on social media that he was removed for receiving opposition politicians who, like NPP officials, found him at his place. When the injustice was made known to Minister Hamad Ba, the lands minister, he ordered for his reinstatement. Where was Minister Ceesay, and who is he to say that the matter was not political?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, government doesn't get involved in such issues. It's not political as far as I know. It's got nothing to do with elections. It might be
if government is not involved, why, according to the texter, when the information was made known to your cabinet colleague, Hamad Ngany Kumbaba, my very good friend, who provides me with some of the best coffee I consume at home. he immediately ordered for the
Yeah,
reinstatement
but that
of
is
the minister.
that is the writer's own version of the story. It doesn't mean that that is the
It may not be correct.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. That there are two sides of every story. That is his side. That is his own version of the events that led to his dismissal and reinstatement. That is his own version. Now, I haven't got an official version. What I can tell you is that there are many Alkalos in this country that have received opposition politicians and spoken to them. They've not been dismissed. I was in the opposition. I've gone to villages where I was resisted by Alkalos in their homes and had meetings with them. They were not dismissed. So for me, I don't go with that side of that version of the story. I haven't got any. What I can tell you is that the dismissal of the Alkalo, as far as I know, and perhaps that can be corrected, has nothing to do with the elections.
Another text message. Please tell the minister that even if other countries are asking for the same fee, this is about the secure report and our international airport, obviously, for the same fee, it's embedded in the ticket. That is why most travelers prefer other countries. If the fee is $1,000, why ask for €20? How guaranteed are we that the money collected goes to the coffers of state? At least let what we pay go straight to the banks. What they may do with it later is not seen anyways.
Yeah, but it's a concession. Like I said, a concession is something that where government cannot provide the service, a private partner comes in and it's called a PPP, public-private partnership. And the money is collected, government gets its share of the revenue. The private partner gets its share of the revenue, but they have to reinvest more because these are systems that must be maintained. And they do a lot of investments in ensuring that our airport is secure, because once airports are secure, flights will be comfortable in coming to that airport, and that airport will be recognized as a safe destination. Now, the security report was something that is important for us to have, because otherwise it would have been known to be a very unsafe airport, and that could affect our reputation as a destination. So we have nothing against the concession. The concession is going well. We are providing security at the airport. In fact, I've just made with GRTS a short documentary on security report for people to understand behind the scenes how it works and how important it is. Very soon we'll publish it. I'm not sure why it's not been published yet, but it's done. I personally commissioned that short documentary for people to understand how this thing works, so they know where the money is going to. But like I said, the inconvenience is...
So for you, the security report arrangement is a good arrangement.
In fact, it's not only good, it is something which is necessary for Gambia to remain a viable, attractive, secure destination recognized internationally. Otherwise, we wouldn't be recognized internationally. You remember, there are checklists.
So this contributes to Gambia being fourth safest country.
Partly, because everybody who comes into this country, the system knows who you are, and also sometimes can know exactly your criminal history and so on and so forth. So only safe people come to this country, partly. Now, what I can tell you is that yes, there is an inconvenience in paying it at the airport, and government is doing everything possible to change that. That is beyond our control. If we had our way, and the decision was to be by us, we'll easily put it there. But this has to do with other stakeholders that are international that we have to work with them to ensure this happens.
How will the ECOWAS decision to do away with all these taxes at airports and, bringing the cost of air travel down, impact on our arrangement with security?
It will, of course, not only Gambia. Same thing with other African ECOWAS countries. That is why these ECOWAS countries like Sierra Leone, Gambia, Liberia, Senegal, they are engaging ECOWAS to see what they can do to resolve this issue, because when ECOWAS was making this decision...
Well, hopefully not to lobby for security report to continue here, taking 1,000 from us. We're trying to, minimize...
But what I'm saying is that there should be security. Somebody has to pay for that security. That is the fact. There should be security at the airport, so the airport is secure and safe, so that airlines can have...
The airport was secure before security report ever came into the picture.
Yeah, but these are new frameworks that are brought in by some IATA and other stakeholders that come to our country that, like I said, not only Gambia. Senegal is having the same security report, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sierra Leone is having it. Sierra Leone also pay when you go to Sierra Leone. You pay. So, because they also could not get it in their air ticket. The airport has to be secure, and someone has to pay for that security. Under normal circumstances, it should be embedded in the ticket. In our case, we are finding it difficult to do that, but we are working hard for that to happen.
The issuance of ID cards is still a hell of a problem. I have applied since 3 months ago, and I'm still not able to get one. Could you please intervene through the Ministry of Interior?
Well, this is it's a recurring issue. A lot of people are complaining about it. But Gambians must understand that there was a concession in place with Semlex, which ended, and when it ended, there were issues with the machines and consumables. We are working hard to make sure we resolve it. But there will be a new concession which will ensure that every Gambian is registered and provided with a digital ID and a physical ID card. This will soon be in place, and once it's in place, the issue of ID card will be resolved once and for all. We are working hard to make sure that we solve that issue.
Oh, it's 11 o'clock already. I'll make this the last one. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please tell Minister Ceesay that we, the people of Rumba and CTWPG villages, are still living in darkness, no electricity, no water from Nawek. Is there any plan for us?
Of course. Like I said, the president has made it very clear that universal access is something that will happen in 2026. I think Rumba, CTWPG, and most of these communities in the West Coast region are part of a project, which very soon they'll be. I think everything is said. It's just to put it on. I'll still make a follow-up with the Minister for Energy, Mr. Nani Duara, to give me updates as to, because the idea was December was the one they told us before that they'll put them on the grid, but maybe there are delays. It's about infrastructure. Sometimes it's beyond your control. But our commitment as a government is to ensure every community in the country has access to stable electricity. Now we are working towards that. We are going to meet our target of universal access by the end of this year, and Rumba, CTWPG will be beneficiaries for that. Now, with water, we've known that there has been challenges with water since independence. No significant investment has been done in our water infrastructure since independence. And remember,
Lamin Sane, when he was executive director of the OIC Secretariat, negotiated for hundreds of millions of dollars to be invested in improving our water system. So where's all that money?
Well, I cannot respond to that. I don't know anything about that. What I can talk about is that government has done massive investments in providing water to communities. Recently, we've launched, and the president has laid the foundation stone in C4 for the WASIP project, which is supposed to provide water, clean water, to over 1 million inhabitants in the West Coast region. Now, this is part of it. We're expanding our water access. But remember also, our investments in water did not match the demographic dynamics of the region, that is West Coast region. Today, over half of our population live in West Coast region, which will obviously put pressure on water supply.
Oh, really?
and other services. Yeah, I mean, over 60% live in urban Gambia today. And urban Gambia was not built to house 60% of the population.
Well,
that will pay
KMC and Banjul are not part of West Coast region.
No, so. Including KM and Banjul now, there will be that.
Okay,
so
including okay, yes.
Yeah, so the idea is that now we're doing this investment. That is why there has been a conscious policy on the part of government to separate Nawek into two, electricity and water, just to make sure we resolve this issue, because NAWEC also
has that separation happened, because
the policy
been talked about for a while now.
See, when you pass a policy, sometimes the operational aspects of it to make it happen will, it has to go through a procedure and a process that is being done. But the most important thing, government understands the importance of water supply and access to water for communities. Policy-wise, we've separated NAWEC into two, water and electricity, to make sure that there is efficiency in water supplies. But also, we've also made investments in water supply. The WASIP project, very soon, you've seen that they're laying pipes, big pipes. Before, the system was very bad. The way in which the water pipes were even built were not even fit for purpose anymore. That is why we are revamping the entire water system, and water shortages will be something of the... And remember, all some of these villages are new villages. They have not been there for a very, very long. Water never reached these villages before, and now we have to make sure that we expand the access of water infrastructure into these villages to get water. What is important as a government is that it's a conscious effort on our part, and we are highly committed to this, to make sure that every Gambian community has access to water and electricity within the shortest period of time. And this is the president's commitment, and he's made his promise. And policy-wise, we are taking policy actions to make this happen, but investment-wise also, we are making huge investments in this front. But remember, Rome wasn't built in one day. A system that has not been working for 60 years, you don't expect it to change overnight in 5, 6, 7 years. It has to take time. The way government works, the way government procurement works, the way procedures work. You see, democracy means bureaucracy. They go hand in hand. And once you want to do things right,
democracy means bureaucracy.
Of course, yes. All democracies sometimes. That is why if you listen to recently, if you follow global politics and you listen to emerging right-wing politicians, one of the things they say is that they are going to cut red tape. When they come to power, they are going to cut regulations, because sometimes red tape and regulations sometimes impede or inhibit government from moving fast to bring development. Because you have to go through procedures, red tape, bureaucracy here and there. It's good because it also is a check. It also provides checks and balance and accountability. But there should be a fine line somewhere where it doesn't impede massive development and massive transformation, yet at the same time maintaining systems that can also ensure that public finances are well managed. But before I end, I made a statement during our press conference which many people are taken out of context. I want to make that clarification.
Which is?
I said that anybody who forcefully opposes Barrow's start and bid is a rebel. And I'm going to say it again, yes. The Constitution is very clear as to who is qualified to run for office. Now, if the Constitution and the laws give a green pass for President Barrow to run by law, and you want to forcefully stop that, you are a rebel. And I'm going to say it. I'm not saying
who is promising to forcefully
I've seen a movement.
stop
I've seen a movement that has been established online to say that they're going to make sure they stop it. Now, if you make an opinion, as a matter of opinion, that he must not contest, that's your opinion. I'm not talking about those people. That's your right as your opinion, as a citizen. But anybody who wants to go beyond opinion, to use some form of force to stop his start.
You think it will ever get to that?
Well, we never know. I've seen people who are making those threats that they will make sure it doesn't happen. And I've seen a movement being set up online. I'm referring to that movement, that anybody who goes beyond, because it means you are going against the laws of this country. You are going against the Constitution. Now, you have two choices. If you are not happy with the president's start time bid, your first choice is to make your opinion known that you don't approve of it. That's fine. You can stop there. The second option is, if you want, you can go to the Supreme Court and challenge it. But hey, good luck, because nothing stops. Nothing, no law can stop him from contesting. We don't have a term limit in the Gambia, as far as I know. The other aspect of the continuum is that you want to use some form of force to stop him. Either you come out to protest or you want to do disruptions. That's what I'm talking about. In that end of the continuum, that if anybody who wants to use that method to stop his start time bid is a rebel and must be treated as a rebel.
Yeah, but protest is not force, is it?
Yeah, but
protest.
But
just
it's
to
a
go
disruption.
out and march and say, he can't or shouldn't compete.
But you cannot protest against law, against a legal, lawful right for someone to contest. You cannot protest.
No, my point is, protest is not necessarily force.
It is force. Of course,
So
because you are going beyond what is usual for you to protest politically, to resorting to protest against which somebody's constitutional right to contest an election. That is not a wise decision to make. And I'm referring to those people who want to make sure that they want to stop it, that they are rebels. I'm not referring to those.
They want to use force to stop it.
Exactly. I'm not referring to those who are just making their opinions known. They are citizens. They have a right to their opinions. It stops at that end of the continuum. But at the far end of the continuum, if you want to go beyond just making your opinion known, or challenging it in a court of law, which is far-fetched because there is no law in this country which is of a time limit, but you want to use force to stop it, then you are a rebel.
Okay. Anything else you want to? No. Okay. Thank you very much. That's Dr. Ceesay, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services.
Wéef lay fay. sant yàlla. looy xaar utal Wéef nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
In the Gambia, we all move to different paces. Time is money, convenience is power, and now both are in your hands. No more long lines, no more late payments, no more missed chances. Not anymore. Because now the Gambia has its own super app, Zap. One app, one tap, endless convenience. Send money instantly, pay your bills in seconds, shop without borders, pay your rides, order your meal, buy your ticket, deposit and withdraw money for absolutely free. No extra charges, no hidden fees, only on Zap Super App. This is not just convenience. This is confidence. This is the future in your hands. And the best part, Zap is born right here. Built for us, designed for every Gambian home, every Gambian dream. So don't wait in the past. Step into the future. Download Zap today on App Store and Play Store and enjoy endless free services. Call us today on our toll-free number 1666 or on 260-0001. Zap, all in one, all for you. Tap in, zap in.